Kapla, viewers. Welcome back to Housecoat Podcasting. Today we will look at the ships of the Enterprise era of the Klingon Empire.
Burp.
Excuse me.
Ready to build.
But yes, today we are looking at a much smaller era, at a much older era, an era when the Klingon Empire was an era when the United Federation of Planets didn't exist, and its bare foundations were only just starting to be laid, with the USS Enterprise of United Earth beginning its exploration of the galaxy. And their first encounters were with the Klingons, and they encountered more Klingons along the way.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
And many of their boats.
Yes.
We are Klingons.
Yes. We have a new ship for the fleet.
Yeah, this is the only time we actually get to see the Toron shuttle in any version of this mod. It's not a very good representation.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
Yeah. I mean, technically this is more a shuttle pod for Klingon starships in the 24th century and so on.
We have a new ship for the fleet. Beginning construction. We have a new ship for the fleet.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Reinforcements are coming
Now,
out.
is this the,
We have a new ship for the fleet.
Von Tuck?
Ironically enough, this is not a Gamma design.
Is this the Von Tuck?
No. This was used during the Augment saga.
Huh.
The one with the Klingon augments.
Huh.
Where they inserted a strike team aboard the Enterprise.
Yeah. I could definitely see this one having actual warp nacelles. But yeah. Maybe this was a design. I remember the warp wing design. I remember the warp wing design I mentioned in the TMP episode, viewers. Apparently the prototype for that was the Von Tuck. This one, this one you can definitely see the warp nacelles that it has. So it's not a warp wing design, but, well,
We have a new ship
maybe
for
it
the
was an
fleet.
early test bed. They had conventional nacelles, but they were testing the wings to prepare for the warp wing design. It would make sense. Not everyone is like Earth. Earth's engineers are basically a planet. Earth is basically a planet of Doc Browns. No one else treats science quite like Earth does. So I could see them doing prototypes of the wing design.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
For Kalis.
And there she is.
The Von Tuck.
The earliest bird of prey. In fact, when I wrote the description for this thing, apparently Star Trek Adventures and I had something in mind.
Reinforcements are coming.
Go back to... Commissioned in 2149, the Von Tuck is a new, effective warship designed to punch very high above its weight. So much so that it is weak to smaller ships, best employed with smaller escorts.
And it is.
Yeah. But yeah. the Star Trek Adventure said 2149. Ron said 2149.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
Reinforcements are coming.
Yes?
Let's see, what's that one?
The
What
one
was
being
that?
built?
The one you had just clicked on. Oh, over there. Was that's still a
We will
Vontauk?
drive them before us.
Oh, what's...
The one being built is the Golf, which I believe is just
We have a
the
new ship for the fleet.
shuttle.
Beginning construction.
You know, the one used by that Tellarite bounty hunter.
Reinforcements are coming.
But yeah.
And
Star Trek...
Soul 2.
Right. But, yeah. As mentioned, viewers, Star Trek Adventures does have Enterprise-era Klingon starships. Let's see, come on.
Yeah, this is definitely the one. It's repurposed as an AA fighter.
Yes, that basically became the General's Chariot in STO. AKA the Klingon version of the Captain's Yacht. But yes.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
In Star Trek
Yes.
Adventures, there are 4
Beginning
Enterprise-era
construction.
starships. The D5 battle cruiser, the Raptor-class scout, the Vontauk,
We are ready for battle.
and the Katok-class scout. Which basically became something like a runabout or a shuttle.
Give the Feklar his due. Reinforcements are coming.
And there's the Raptor. That's a very nice design.
Note was on the bottom.
Little gun turret.
Yeah. Rather ironically, I consider this actually the best Bird of Prey variant. Simply because of that turret.
Fair enough.
Because it can shoot below you.
It can shoot below you. It can shoot to the left of you. It can shoot to the right of you. It can
You like it,
shoot
Jordan? You gotta love it, right?
Guard.
Yeah.
What do you
Gun
think
turret.
of it? Yeah, gun turret on a Bird of Prey. You like it?
It's nice.
Reinforcements are coming.
I can shoot behind you!
Yep.
This is the best design.
Yeah. Do we have any D5s?
We're working on it. I'm basically building up the line with these boats.
Right.
But he built a D4.
That's a neat design.
Look familiar?
Looks a little like the Korotinga.
It is the Koratinga. In fact, if in STO I decide to actually make this thing, all I have to do is just replace the pylons with Katinga pylons with Koro Katinga cells, a D7 head, and it'd be an effective clone of this thing.
Huh.
You honor my house.
Oh yeah, this thing's legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits the design era, but
Yeah.
here she comes.
Note
Wum
to
wum
self.
wum 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 wum.
Yeah. Note to self. As soon as this is over, start trying to see if I can homebrew
We
and
have a new ship for the fleet.
note to self.
honor my house.
Start planning to
Reinforcements are coming.
homebrew design for the my homebrew legacy ship stats into Star Trek Adventures.
And here's the Raptor.
Yeah.
I wrote this thing as a newer medium cruiser.
Star Trek Adventures stated it as a scout. And overview. The Empire grew slowly in the decades prior to first contact with humans. The majority of the Imperial fleet was engaged with spacefaring civilizations rimward of the homeworld. And due to this short-sightedness, the shipyards of the Empire had been focusing on larger, more combat-worthy ship designs. The neglected small scouts of the Klingon Defense Force at the time dated back to the years just after the development of warp travel, meaning that the main combat forces of the Empire could easily outpace the scouts they needed to find enemy outposts, make contact with new species, and find new worthy enemies for the Empire. Using many of the design elements from the newly launched D5 battlecruiser, the first of the Raptor-class scouts was launched from the Kalis' Blade orbital shipyards above Kronos in 2146. This class of vessel stayed in service in the Earth-Romulan War, protecting the small shared border region between our Empire and theirs, and went on to perform as honor until after the brief conflict with the Federation in 2267 showed the space frame's age and limitations. Few of these vessels continue to be active in the Empire, used by short-distance Imperial merchantmen to move meat animals such as Targ and Gach.
Okay, I really, really like that turret.
Yeah.
My only complaint is that the forward guns aren't being used. I mean, they're modeled on there. Why not tack on a couple of extra disruptors?
Yeah. Anyway.
I hate to say this, but this is the best variant.
Yeah, anyway. D5.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
Still coming.
Reinforcements are coming.
Beginning construction.
I really, really like the Von Talk.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Kapla. Beginning construction. Ready for battle.
And you can't blame
We
me,
have a new ship for the fleet.
No.
because
Reinforcements are coming.
I hate to say this, but comparing the Von Talk to the Burrell, the Von Talk is unironically the far better design.
Even if it's the more primitive one, yeah. Anyway, D5.
I mean, look at the cons. I mean, look at the armament. It has 4 fixed disruptor cannons, a twin-barrel disruptor turret.
And the torpedo launcher?
Yeah, that kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
D5.
Beginning construction.
Ah, here's the D4.
The day will be ours.
I describe this as a venerable vessel, older. In fact, the one we saw in Unexpected, the most hated Season 1 episode of Enterprise. That Katinga model was supposed to be this.
Right.
But somebody was lazy and just used the Katinga model from
We have a new ship
Voyager.
for the fleet.
Reinforcements are coming. Clock which Chukar loop. On my way.
What? Go there. You honor my house.
D5. That's a Raptor. D5.
Ready to build.
I can save you a bit of time. Here's the freighter version.
We have a new ship for the fleet.
If you can
Beginning
inject those
construction.
cargo pods, it would still be an effective D5 variant.
Yeah.
I thirst for battle.
But yeah. While we wait for a D5 to be built, here's the Star Trek Adventures lore on the thing. The D5 battlecruiser was the latest iteration of Imperial assault starship design. the engineering team at the Dakan Forge, when it was introduced in 2146 in the lead-up to the campaign to conquer the Bemoth system and its indigenous inhabitants. The Bemoth people were a really warp-capable species discovered in 2141, and had shown a long history of civil conflict that had made them into formidable warriors. The D5 led the charge against the Bemoth, and its blade of armor proved more than capable against the layered planetary defenses and heavy particle cannon emplacements mounted on orbiting defense asteroids circling high above the world. When the Empire first encountered United Earth and saw that the Vulcan High Command was assisting them with a personnel exchange, the High Command felt that this new human menace was the largest threat to the Empire since the defeat of the Hark. The D5s of the fleet were recalled and refit with newly developed defensive shields based on salvaged Vulcan systems from a destroyed spy vessel, attempting to gain knowledge of the dilithium refinement facilities on Praxis. These newly upgraded D5s were deployed into systems controlled by the Empire and between Kronos and Earth. By 2155, all D5s had been refit in time for the outbreak of the Earth-Romulan War. The D5 continued to serve with honor in the KDF even after the Earth-Romulan War. Improved weapon systems and warp coils were installed through the 22nd century, and improvements in solid-state microengineering and symmetrical subspace field generation allowed the D5 to continue to serve as a battlecruiser until the introduction of the D7 in the late 2250s. The D5 was then moved to secondary positions in battlecruiser squadrons. By the 2270s, the D5 was phased out of frontline service entirely and moved to system defense and house fleets.
Oh, that's gonna be painful. This is gonna really hurt.
Oh, that's a combat D5. Oh, wow. And it's getting hammered.
And this is why I consider the Vontok superior.
Yep, fair enough.
Yes, the D5 is a capable battleship, but this is why battle cruisers fell to the wayside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. To paraphrase a certain other franchise, Vontok superior, D5 inferior.
Not entirely accurate, though. When operating on their own, D5 is not great. But when operating in concert with, say, multiple Vontoks,
yeah, squadrons of Vontoks can lay waste to pretty much anything.
yeah, there's a reason I like using Klingons for Civil War sorts of things.
It makes sense.
Because they're always trying to kill one another.
Yeah.
It's always fun to watch the... Oh, I just lost my boat!
Oh well.
Oh well, at least we get some nice pretty shots of the Vontok kicking ass.
Yeah. And some interesting lore on 3 of the ships featured today. And yes, as I mentioned in the TMP episode, the Vontok was supposedly the prototype, the first ship using that used the new warp wing design. Just laying out all the coils on the wing and using pulses of energy to create an asynchronous warp field for improved stability. And yes, I know that other ship was a bird of prey style with actual warp cells, but you could still say that the warp wing that most birds of prey use the warp wing design. That ship with the warp nacelles is probably just like a test bed or something.
Well, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to swap over to STO because they only have one real Enterprise ship.
The Montauk, yeah.
Parakatinga looks close, but it's an altered design, and... Oh! Kamikaze!
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So what's your verdict, Jorn? Which is your favorite bird of prey?
The brow.
And not the one with the big gun? Turret?
It's simple.
Because it's simpler to build, ironically enough. You just look at that. It's got 4 disruptor cannons. And one of them's on a... and 2 of them are on a turret.
I think the main thing he likes about the Morale is that it can cloak.
Oh, please, this thing can cloak too in STO.
Well, yeah, but that would be like refit variants. The original Von Tock couldn't cloak. It was only...
Don't ram it, don't ram it, don't ram it.
Hey, remember, Klingons only got cloaking devices in the late 2260s, early 2270s.
Yes, we will have to discuss that
Oh!
We'll discuss that anachronism alone.
Yes, because Jorn will not be joining us for the next one. Because for the next one, there is hate. There is rage.
And at least we are willing to vent to make it known that we hate it. Please don't ram it.
Good. But yes. But yes. Next time we discuss
the sins.
Yes.
Sins.
The ships belonging to the orcs who delude themselves into thinking they are Klingon. The STD Klingon design. And that will be almost entirely an STL. We will see.